Hi, my name is Jonathan Hicks. I'm back at the Dice Cup, and this evening I'm joined by
Dean.
Fuck. And we just finished playing Pipeline, which is a heavy economic game about running oil through pipelines, refining it so you're kind of trying to improve the value of the oil, and then you sell it in various markets to get lots of money. At the end of the game, it's the most money wins. In terms of how you take actions, though, there's this odd kind of cross in the middle, and typically you take your guy when it's your go, and you put it on one of these to take that action. So to start with, for example, you might go to the crude market to buy some oil. So you can see there's some prices here. There's three types of oil. There's no real difference between them other than possible prices. So you pay your money. So I might decide to buy this one and this one if I went there. And you've got to store it on your board here in these kind of tanks. Incidentally, if you go to the tanks and pipes action, you can buy the actual tanks that go on your board. You can see these are $5 and $10. Other things you can do then are obviously to try and get the pipes. Now, there's two main ways you get pipes. As an action, you can go on what's called the government pipes, which are here. So if I went on this pipe here, I could buy that pipe along with any ones that are connected to it, and there's a kind of price here. So the more pipes you buy, obviously the more expensive it is. So if I bought 3 pipes, you can see it cost me $20, and I might decide to take this one and this one and this one, whoops, and then you kind of attach them to your pipe network. You can see as we've gone through the game here, I've been building this network of pipes here, and you're trying to make connected colours. So obviously you can see I've gone for a really long blue one here, and then a really long orange one, but you kind of want long ones in particular colours, or you could go for lots of shorter ones. But crucially, in order to upgrade the oil, there's this all important little table at the top. Now this is randomly generated at the beginning of each game, so it does vary from game to game. But if I wanted to refine orange oil from the sort of crude to the first stage, I'd need a pipe length of 6. And then to get it to the next stage, I'd need 4 and then 6. So you can see, in this case, the orange pipe, you kind of count it in stages. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's really long. Does that get me the whole way? So 6 and 4 would be 10, plus another 6, yes. So I need 16 to get all the way from crude oil to the very best refined oil, and that would do it. So this effectively would let me move this all the way up to the top, potentially. But yes, in terms of that's how you acquire the pipes from here. The other way you can acquire it is, you notice when I went to the tanks action, as well as buying the tanks here, there are also some pipes here, so you can also pay. You can see there's different prices. They're slightly more expensive here, and you can get them here. I said you can run the pipes to increase the oil. That is actually an action, so instead of taking one of these actions, I could kind of put this on one of my pipes and then run one of the pipes, and then that lets you upgrade the oil depending on the length of the pipe to the appropriate level here down the side. There is a machines and pipes action here, which lets you buy a machine as well as possibly getting some more pipes. And the machines are very useful because it doesn't require an entire action. Like, you don't use your turn to run your pipes. You kind of get this free extra run. I mean, you have to pay $15 for it, but it's like a free extra action, which can be very handy. So you could use your guy to do one thing over here, and then you pay your $15, and your machine runs all the pipes that are connected to it. So I could upgrade an orange, and I could upgrade a blue, and if I had a grey, I could upgrade a grey one as well. So the machines are very useful. So you're upgrading your oil, trying to make it into better varieties, and then effectively you're going to do a number of different things with it. You can go to the contracts and loans section. Incidentally, running out to get money in this game's very easy to do, so you might want to get a loan. But you do get these horrible red cubes, which count as negative money at the end of the game. So you want to avoid that if you can. But you can get these contracts. So if you think you can get 2 grey barrels of oil up to this level here, then effectively you can try and satisfy this contract, which is going to get you a kind of regular income effectively, as long as you can do that every year. The game is played over 3 years, and you get sort of diminished number of actions each year. Obviously, as your engine builds up, you get better at it. You could also try and complete orders. These are like goals that you race for. So the first person who manages to get 4 kind of low-grade oil would take this, complete it. Again, you're selling it, you're getting money here for it. But then that's obviously worth a big pile of cash at the end. Or you can go to one of the markets. You can see around the outside you've got refined market 3, 2, and 1. And you can sell as well as possibly buying different things here. So I've got my orange and my blue right at the top. So I probably want to go to refined market 2, where you can sell. You kind of fill up the available spaces to get the money shown. So I'd be selling this to get a big pile of cash. And while at refined market 2, I could also buy a bit of grey oil if I wanted to. So it's interesting how the colours kind of are varied between the different market. You can't necessarily sell everything. at every market, so you need to think carefully about that. So those are most of the actions. Then finally, as the upgrades, there's a kind of mini tech tree, if you like. So there's various things that you can buy here. You sort of spend $20 and you get the appropriate upgrade. So for example, this one here, I could fulfill my contract twice every year, which would be quite handy. And then you can see it kind of gets better. So for an additional $10, you get an extra $10 every time you sell to contracts. So you can see that's like a contracts tech tree. This one gets you free government pipelines, the one from the middle section here, every year, so that's quite handy. And again, it kind of gets better as it goes up. So there's a wide variety of different tech trees. But interestingly, when you buy from one of these, if I decide to buy this one, it flips it over and that prevents anyone else buying from that column for the rest of the entire year. So it's really quite restrictive. And having just bought one, you can then choose to flip over another one, which blocks another column. So actually it's quite difficult to get the tech because of the blocking, and once someone's taken it, then it's kind of gone. So yeah, so you're trying to get your money through refining. You buy the oil, you build your pipelines, you run the machines to upgrade the oil, you sell it for lots of cash while completing orders or contracts using the tech. Most money at the end of 3 years is the winner. What do we think?
I really like it. I think it's a great game. It's a bizarre worker placement game in that you've only got one worker and you only will ever have one worker for the entire game. And there are very few actions. There's about 17 in the entire game. It's an engine building game. The problem is that in order to build your engine, you need money to buy the pipeline, and in order to get money, you need a pipeline to convert the oil. So actually getting an engine going is quite tricky. And there is no other way of getting money other than running oil through a pipeline, other than the ludicrously exorbitant loan system, which runs at an interest rate in somewhere, starts at about 75% and rises. So you never want to take more than one or two of those. I think it's a great game. It is, as I have managed to demonstrate in the two games I've played, seriously prone to AP. In two ways. There's a lot of things you can do with your action, and if you buy 4 pieces of pipeline, you can spend the next 10 minutes trying to put them together in a sensible order, and you're still going to get it done. But I think it's a great game. I really like it.
Okay. Mark?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think underneath this, if you ignore where it's a very solid worker placement game with 92 parts. The actual worker placement bit itself, which the decision of which area do I want to go to, especially if I want to take 2 actions. So you're like, I really could go to this market and doing this action, but they're not connected because they're randomised. I think as the actual meat of the game, like the building of the pipes, that is the other bit that's the non-worker placement. It's really cool, really easy to understand what's going on. Nightmare to figure out what you actually try and do with your pipes though. And it does constantly feel like an economic game. The whole thing is, I haven't got enough money, trying to just eke out those dollars to get you to the right place so that you can push that engine and kickstart it going. Its biggest weakness is, as Dean said, though, is I really like this game. I really like 25% of this game, but 75, the other 75 can be a bit sometimes twiddling thumbs. Saying that, this is the second time the 3 of us have played this, and it was much quicker than it was the first time we played it. So it does get better, but it's sort of new players, it's always going to have AP issues, just because you're trying to chain together so many actions, and you're going, you suddenly realise you're like, I'll do this, 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 and this. Oh no, I haven't got enough money, and then you restart your thing again. Or, I bought these 4 pieces of pipe, now how do I put them all together? But so if you can live with the AP, it's very good. If you can't, it will probably annoy you.
Rating?
As a game, ignoring the AP, probably about an 8.5, because it's very much the sort of game I like. Including the AP, probably down to 7.5.
Okay. Dean?
Yeah, I think I'd go exactly the same way. I'd score it about 7 for the first time you play it because of the AP. I think I'd score it 9 for the second time you play it. The only reason I wouldn't score it higher than that is there is a distinct advantage for somebody who's played before over somebody who hasn't. And I'm not 100% certain about the replayability. I think you will start to develop 1 or 2 tactics that you will just play repeatedly. But the other thing we didn't mention is, although it's a worker placement game, unusually you don't block where anybody else has gone. So you don't get that, I've gone to this place, oh, I can't go there anymore. There's very little blocking people going on, which I also quite like. I don't like a game where you get completely stitched up by where the person before you went. So I think after the second play onwards, I'd score it a 9 at least until I start getting bored.
Okay. I think it is a very good game, but boy, is it a brain strain. It really will melt your brain, this one. It's very heavy, much heavier than it really looks. You know, you just think, oh yeah, you build your pipeline, you refine your oil, you sell it, and you get some money. It sounds simple, but there's a lot of interconnected mechanics here. There's a few things I didn't really mention. There's some nice kind of end of game goals you're aiming for. You get extra money for doing certain things, and they vary from game to game, so there's quite a bit of variability. The tech system varies again from game to game, and there's a great first player mechanism here where taking certain actions will bump you into first player. So if you think about it carefully and you plan your actions, you can effectively take 2 turns in a row, because if you go last in one round, bump yourself into first, you go first again on the next round, you get 2 actions at once. So that can be really important. There's an awful lot to think about in this one, so yes, it can be quite slow, very steep learning curve, but I just find, you know, even the first game I really enjoyed because I was thoroughly engrossed all the way through. You are constantly thinking. I did very badly in my first game. I did much better in my second game. Unfortunately, Dean, who did very well in his first game, did much better in his second game as well and trounced all of us. But the difference in points, like the money at the end, was huge. Dean had more than double, I think, second place. So if you really nail your engine in this one, you can score very highly. So that's a great puzzle for me. I'm like, oh, how can I maximise this? Because if you go wrong, you can go very badly wrong, and that's one thing I would warn you about. If you don't like being punished in games, if you miss a few key things in this one, it will really punish you. So just bear all that in mind. Given all that, I would give it an 8 out of 10 though. I do think it's a very good game. Alright, thanks for watching. That was Pipeline.